Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we have this verse, first canto, 7th chapter, text 5. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam paro api manute anartham tatkritam cha vipadyate. But to what meaning? By Srila Prabhupada. Yaya, by whom? Sammohita, illusioned. Jivaha, the living entities. Atmanam, self. Trigunatmakam, conditioned by three modes of nature or a product of matter.
Conditioned by the three modes of nature or product of matter.
Paraha, transcendental. Api, in spite of. Manute, takes it for granted. Anartham, things not wanted. Tat, by that. Kritam cha, reaction. Avipadyate, undergoes thereof. I think we can repeat the verse. We can repeat the verse. No. Yeah, Sanskrit.
Yaya sammohita jiva
atmanam trigunatmakam paro api manute anartham tatkritam cha vipadyate. Energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, thinks of himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The root cause of suffering by the materialistic living beings is pointed out with remedial measures which are to be undertaken and also the ultimate perfection to be gained. I think I'll just keep on explaining. This is a long purport.
However you like.
So this Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the first line.
Usually we say Om Jnana, you said?
I have to speak. I should speak before. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadhar Vashadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada mentions the first line about Sambandh, Avidhay and Prayojan. That's what he speaks. He's pointing out that this verse is talking about all three. There are few verses which are talking about all three subject matter in one concise but precise way. So Sambandh, root cause of suffering by the materialistic living beings, is pointed out. That is the Sambandh, our relationship with Krishna. In all Sampradayas, all Acharyas are commenting about our relationship with this word, with other living entities, with time, and with material nature. And what is our relationship with this word? Madhvacharya, he says, every Acharya brings out a particular point. He emphasizes, focuses on particular aspect. Madhvacharya says, our relationship with this word is dependent and independent. We are dependent and Lord is independent. Ramanacharya, he focuses on the point, we are servant and he is a master. And Vallabhacharya, he informs us that we are the subject of mercy and he is the giver of mercy, Pushti Marg. And Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, they focus on the point, we are to be enjoyed, and He is the enjoyer. That's what Prabhupada, our whole philosophy basis is this point. We are to be enjoyed, and He is the enjoyer. So this is about Sambandh, our relationship with Krishna. It's not enough to know what is there in this word, who am I. It is enough to know how we are connected with each other. Even in science, past 300 years, Newton and other physics, biology, they were focusing on particles, electron, proton, atoms, cell. But 21st century science, they're focusing on relationships between two cells, between two atoms, and that is another revolution in science. Similarly, in spiritual knowledge, we have to understand that relationship matters, and of course, everything is relationship. And then the next is Abhiday, Sambandh. First 2 chapters of Vedanta Sutra. It's in Vedanta Sutra. Vyasadeva is explaining about Sambandh, our relationship. And the next Prabhupada says, this verse is also mentioning the remedial measures which are to be undertaken. Now we are to be enjoyed. Krishna is an enjoyer, but because we are acting as enjoyer, that's why we are suffering. This is what the point will come, Prabhupada is mentioning. How to relieve sufferings? That is called Abhidhay, the process by which we can get out of these sufferings. And the ultimate perfection to be gained, that is perfect peace and satisfaction. Yatma suprasidati. Bhagavatam says, this is that process by which supreme satisfaction can be attained. Krishna says in Gita, after which nothing else there is to be gained. That is the purpose of life. That is the purpose of philosophy. That is the purpose of all spiritual teachings. The goal of life. Nothing else to be attained. We are completely satisfied. Krishna is completely satisfied. When Krishna is satisfied, we are satisfied. And that's the point which this verse is focusing on. Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, first canto, Adi Lila, second chapter, last verse, he says, Siddhant boliya chitte na karah alas, iha lagi Krishna sudhira manas. Mahaprabhu informs us, don't be lazy in understanding philosophy of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada also says, try to understand Krishna. And this is the philosophy of Krishna. Sambandh, Abhidhay and Prayojan. All this is mentioned in this particular verse. We'll see how these 3 things are mentioned in this verse. The system of reading scriptures is to divide scriptures into these 3 sections, Sambandha, Abhidhay, Prayojan. Living being is constitutional, transcendental to material engagement, but is now imprisoned by the external energy, and therefore he thinks himself one of the material products. And due to this unholy contact, the pure spiritual entity suffers material miseries under modes of material nature. This is direct translation of a Bhagavatam verse, 11th canto, discussion with Nimi Maharaj and Navayugandhar. So there's a verse Prabhupada often quotes that in his purports, Dvitiya abhinevishta syat ishad apatasya asmritihi. So Nimi Maharaj Navayugandhar says that because ishad dvitiya abhinevishta syat, Prabhupada mentions in so many lectures, due to our abhinevesh means our absorption in duality, dvitiya. Due to absorption in this thought that I am separate from Krishna, I am the enjoyer, I am the master. Due to this absorption, due to this tendency, ishad apatasya vismriti, we forget Krishna. And why we forget Krishna? Because as soon as we think that I am separate from Krishna, I am the enjoyer, external energy takes control of us. That's the idea. So like yesterday I was telling that we can't blame illusion, we can't blame Maya. We have to blame ourselves. That's the point. If we don't enjoy, Krishna doesn't want to see us suffering. Krishna doesn't want to see us in Maya. That the point will come. Krishna wants us to be happy with him. But the question is, we have to choose to be with Krishna. It's a choice. Oh, yeah, once I think somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can gopis fall down? Because it is said in so there was some discussion in ISKCON at that time, fall down of jivas, whether jivas fall down from Vaikuntha or not. So Prabhupada, it came to Prabhupada and they asked Prabhupada. Prabhupada, can we fall down from spiritual world? Prabhupada told yes. And then one devotee, I don't know his name, but he told Prabhupada, but Bhagavatam says, we never fall down from spiritual world. Krishna says, one who attains my spiritual word, he never comes back. So then Prabhupada said, no. Prabhupada said, you never come back, that's all right. But if you choose to come back, you will come back. So then Prabhupada said that even gopis can fall down, but they never choose to fall down. That's what Prabhupada said. It is their free will. They never choose. So it's up to us, whether we are in material world or spiritual world. If we choose to enjoy, we are not with Krishna. Even if we are with God, if we try to be enjoyer, we are not with him. So the point is not to be with him or without him. The point is to be in his service. That's the idea. That's what Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta, all of them emphasized. That only in service you will find Krishna. You can't find Krishna just by meeting him. That's not possible. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was in South India trip with Kala Krishna Das. So he was there with Mahaprabhu, but he was seduced by Bhattaharis and even imagine you are with God face to face and he is influenced by illusion. How is it? This shows that it's not, even if you are with God, you are not safe. Because your mentality should be in service attitude. That will protect you. And that is why entire Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy focuses on service. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told. A goal of life is not Krishna. A goal of life is Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem Pumarto Mahan. All acharyas, they, Madhva, Ramanuja, Vallabh, they informed us our goal of life is Krishna. But Mahaprabhu came, no. Our goal of life is love of God. Love of God means service. Without service, there is no meaning to love. That's lust. So our goal of life is service. And that was absolute genius. Because he could diagnose his God. He could diagnose that even if we are with God, it's not necessary that you are out of illusion. Kamsa, he was there in front of Krishna. He was directly seeing Krishna, but he was a demon. So that is what the point is. We have to find Krishna in service. While we are doing service, we'll find Krishna. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. Service can save us from all material miseries. Because in service, we'll find Krishna. We will this unholy contact with Maya, Srila Prabhupada is telling. With illusion, you have unholy contact. With service, you have holy contact. So Jiva Goswami, in one of his Sandarbhas, he explains this point. To associate with Krishna is to associate with service. So Bhaktisiddhanta raises this question. Why we want love of Krishna? He raises this question. And he answers this, we want love of Krishna so that our service attitude increases. The point is, now we are serving, but we can't serve 24 hours. That's the point. We have to sleep, our body, we have to eat. There are disturbances. Question is how to increase our service attitude. How we have to serve Krishna 25 hours and not 24 hours. That's what Bhaktisiddhanta said. Let us serve him 25 hours or 24 hours. But how to do that? That is only possible when we attain love. When we attain love, without love, it's not possible. It's not possible, no matter how much we try. So our target, to to serve Him 24 hours, we ask Krishna, Krishna, give me the gift of love. So Krishna will ask you, why do you want love? For yourself? You want to enjoy love? No, Krishna, because we want to serve you. We want to serve you 25 hours. Then Krishna is happy. Okay, good. Now you are qualified for love. So this is the difference between Gaudiya Vaishnavas and Sahajya. Sahajyas, sentimentalists, they want love for themselves. But we want love for Krishna. That is the difference. That is the difference. Our whole focus is service. We should always remember. Even after love, our focus is on service. Just like we were talking yesterday. Why we want to serve Krishna? If Krishna asks us, why do you want to serve me? We tell Krishna, because we want to serve your devotees. That's a good answer. We want to serve you so that we can serve your devotees. Now, how does it go? Suppose you want to serve a businessman, you have to be a businessman, no? You have to understand business. Otherwise, we can't serve him properly. Isn't it? We can't serve him properly. If you want to serve, suppose if you want to serve Maharaj, you should know his mood. You should know what he wants. Otherwise, you can't serve him properly. You'll simply irritate him. So to serve devotees, our whole object is to serve devotees. But to serve devotees, we must serve Krishna. Because devotees are serving Krishna. So we have to be expert in service of Krishna, not to really serve Krishna, but to serve the devotees. Otherwise, we will not be able to serve him. We will simply frustrate them. And that is devotion. In material world, the more forward we are, the more we are behind. And in spiritual world, the more behind we are, the more Krishna, the more near we are to Krishna. That's the idea. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri. Inside the temple, he was standing behind Garud's thumb. Inside. Chaitanya says, he didn't go near Jagannath. If you go in Jagannath Puri in the temple, Garud's thumb is there. And if you see from behind Garud's thumb, you can't see Jagannath. It is not, like you can see, the gate is so small, they're so far. You can see Subhadra, you can see half of Jagannath and half of Balram. One eye, two eyes, that's all. So to see Jagannath fully, you have to go like this and go nearby. All people go near Jagannath, they have the darshan of Jagannath. But Mahaprabhu, no, Mahaprabhu was standing behind Garud's thumb. And from here he can't see Jagannath fully. Why? He could have gone forward. And there's so many people in front of him. And they're trying to see Jagannath. He can't see Jagannath. The idea was, he was not interested to see Jagannath. He was interested that Jagannath sees him. That's the idea. We can see Krishna our whole life. We can see Krishna birth after birth. But if Krishna doesn't see us, what's the point? So we are coming here to see Krishna in the hope that one day Krishna will glance his merciful glance on us. He sees us. That is the perfection of life. Suppose if I am giving lecture and there's so many people, and if I don't see somebody, and he's seeing me, he'll not feel good. He'll say, my God, that speaker, he didn't even see me once, what's happening. So that's the point. When we are in front of Krishna, Raghunath Das Goswami says, "Oh Krishna," in one of his book, "I am living in hope against hope." It's very difficult to attract attention of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says it's easy to attain. Prabhupada says it is easy to satisfy Krishna, easy to serve Krishna, but at the same time he also says it is very difficult to satisfy Krishna. He says both things. Prabhupada said in one of his conversations, even if you are attached to one samosa, you have to come back. We have to come back, he said. Krishna is very strict. It's very difficult to satisfy Krishna, and Brahma and Lakshmi cannot satisfy him. But Srila Prabhupada qualifies that. He says, although it is very difficult to satisfy Krishna, but at the same time, he is very merciful. So Rupa Goswami has written a song. We all sing. We have all in song book. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. That song, very nice. Rupa Goswami says this very concept. Krishna, I know it's very difficult to serve you, very difficult to attract your attention. And it is very difficult to even see one single ray of the nail of your lotus feet. But I've heard from devotees that you are an ocean of mercy. Krishna, so in that hope, I've approached you so that one day you glance your merciful glance on me. That's the idea. So hope against hope. That's what we are living. That is a mood. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood. Our entire mood is hope against hope. Separation. One day Krishna will definitely accept us. And that feeling will help us to come in contact with Him. That feeling. The living entity, Prabhupada continues, the living entity misunderstands himself to be a material product. So, if you ask me one synonym of Maya, people say Maya, one meaning of Maya is illusion. But many of his purports, Prabhupada says, Maya means, one word for Maya is misconception. Prabhupada again and again says in his purports, it means misconception. And Prabhupada says, due to living entity misunderstands himself to be a material product. It is a misconception. We perceive things wrongly. So how does Maya confuse us? By putting misconceptions, that's all. It is not like a magic hocus pocus or something like that. She creates confusion. She bewilders us. This means that the present perverted way of thinking, feeling and willing under material conditions is not natural for him. But he has his normal way of thinking, feeling and willing. This is psychology, thinking, feeling and willing. The living being in his original state is not without thinking, feeling and willing power. Thinking, willing and feeling power. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that actual knowledge of conditioned soul is now covered by any science. So, Prabhupada says in one of his lecture, if you want to understand God, you understand yourself. That's what also Prabhupada said. Because whatever Krishna has, we also have. That same psychology is there. So Krishna thinks, feels and wills. We also think, feel and will. In this canto, second chapter, there's a purport, beautiful purport. Srila Prabhupada says, I think that's the only purport where Prabhupada mentions that point. Prabhupada says in that purport, I can't paraphrase, but it's almost. Prabhupada says, it is a natural psychology of any living being that when he hears his name, he becomes happy. And then Prabhupada says that his natural psychology is coming from Krishna. He is no exception. And that is why when Krishna hears his name, he becomes happy. So, then Prabhupada says in one of his lecture, I think on this purport, Prabhupada says, we can understand Krishna if we understand ourselves. We become hurt, Krishna becomes hurt. We become happy, Krishna becomes happy. And we can understand ourselves if we understand Krishna. That's also possible. So, because Nityo Nityananam, Chetnas Chetnananam, Krishna is supreme living entity. And that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. All thinking, feeling and willing, it's common to both of us. But the difference between Krishna and us is, Krishna thinks, feels and wills for his devotees. That's the idea. Na prayojanatvat. That's what Vedanta Sutra says. He doesn't do anything for himself. Whenever he blinks, that blink is also for the satisfaction of Krishna. And whenever devotees blink, that blinking is for satisfaction of Krishna. So it's there. But for us it's different. The same psychology, but we think, feel and will for ourselves. So if we can change our psychology, we can be with Krishna, qualitatively one with Krishna. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the actual knowledge of conditioned soul is now covered by any science. As soon as we are not qualitatively one with Krishna, we fall into illusion. Thus the theory that a living being is absolute impersonal Brahman is refuted. Prabhupada is coming to refuting Mayavad. This cannot be because the living entity has his own way of thinking in his original unconditional state also. So that's the point. Although we are qualitatively one with Krishna, we are also different. So, spiritual word is variety. Variety. Variety is a mother of enjoyment. There is no variety, there is no enjoyment. One of the names of Krishna is Rasik Shekhar. Rupa Goswami starts Nectar of Devotion with this name of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of all rasas. And the duty of devotees is to give him all enjoyment. Srila Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, we have to satisfy Krishna in all respects. It's not that we have to satisfy Krishna with one service or two service. By all our services, all our actions, we have to satisfy Krishna. In temple, outside temple. In our room or outside the room. We have to keep in mind. By our thoughts, by our words, by our actions, by everything, we have to satisfy Krishna. We should not think that, okay, fine, I'm doing this service and okay, I'll do this properly and I'll satisfy Krishna. Not only service, but we have to be all round. We have to satisfy Krishna. By our walking, we have to satisfy Krishna. We should walk in such a way so that Krishna is satisfied. How to do that? Well, you can walk to the temple. That's Krishna is satisfied. That's one example. To talk in such a way so that Krishna is satisfied. And how to talk? Yeah. So how Krishna talks, I told. By understanding Krishna, we can understand. So how Krishna talks? It is said in Nectar of Devotion, Krishna's words are very grave. So what that means? Krishna speaks less words but more meaning. That's gravity. Alpa shabdam analpa artham. Less words, more meaning. And Krishna likes that. That is called Parokshvad. That's technically called Parokshvad. And that is why Vyasadeva, all these verses, Vyasadeva has composed. There's a lot of meaning in this, but very, very concise. It's very short. So devotees like that. Devotee speaks and there is a meaning to all those words. It's deep. The Lord does not desire that a living being be illusioned by external energy. The external energy is aware of this fact, but still she accepts a thankless task of keeping the forgotten soul under illusion by bewildering influence. The Lord does not interfere with the task of illusory energy because such performance of illusory energy are also necessary. Oh, what's this? Can you close this? I don't know. Does not desire living entity being illusioned by external energy. External energy is aware of this fact, but still she accepts a thankless task of keeping the forgotten souls under illusion by bewildering influence. The Lord does not interfere with task of illusory energy because such performance of illusory energy are also necessary for the reformation of conditioned souls. Maya is doing a thankless task. An affectionate father does not like his children to be chastised by another agent, yet he puts his disobedient children under the custody of severe man just to bring them to order. So, Krishna's mercy is mercy. Krishna's anger is also mercy. So, Prabhupada says in one of his lectures that just like a mother reprimands her child, and child thinks, oh, my mother is so angry, but when he grows up, he knows, my mother was merciful. So Jiva Goswami says, even demons, they get mercy of Krishna. Because how? Because Krishna becomes angry with them, he tries to kill them, and that touch of anger is mercy of Krishna. It purifies them. So what we want? We want, well, even Maya is under control of Krishna, and it is our fortune that Maya chastises us. We have to perceive it in that way. Maya has two meanings. One of the meaning is Maya is illusion. Another meaning is mercy. Madhvacharya writes in Sanskrit. So it depends how we perceive. If we perceive Maya as punishment only, then we'll be in fear. If we perceive Maya as a reformative program, a program by which Krishna is trying to reform us, it's mercy, we'll be happy. And then we will understand the true purpose why we are in illusion. So it all depends on perception. Prabhupada gives one more example. King puts a disobedient citizen within the walls of jail, but sometimes king, desiring the prisoner's relief, personally goes there and pleads for reformation, and in doing so the prisoners are set free. So Krishna punishes us through his Maya, but Krishna also comes sometimes. And then Krishna asks us, please surrender unto me, just like a king does. Those who listen to him, they are set free. Those who don't, they are there. Similarly, the Supreme Lord descends from his kingdom, Prabhupada says, upon the kingdom of illusory energy and personally gives relief in form of Bhagavad Gita. That is, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Goswami says that the first mercy of Krishna is his scriptures, his Bhagavad Gita, his words. That is the first mercy of Lord. And the second mercy of Lord is...
What's the first one again?
The first mercy is his knowledge in form of scriptures, Bhagavad Gita. And the second mercy is, when we assimilate those scriptures, He will help us to know how many faults we have. That's the second mercy. Those people are fortunate who can understand what wrong things they have in their heart. That's what Krishna says, Jnana Deepena Bhasvata. I enlighten the darkness of heart by the lamp of knowledge. And what is that enlightenment? We'll come to know, my God, I have so many faults. And then we can work on it. That's the second mercy. He personally suggests that the ways of illusory energy are very stiff to overcome. But one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of Lord is set free by the orders of Supreme. Surrendering process is a remedial measure for getting relief from the bewildering ways of illusory energy. Surrendering process is completed by the influence of association. Oh, this is very, very important line. It is completed by the influence of association. This is so important. Prabhupada never says surrender process begins from the influence of association. Although we know Adav Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sang, Atha Bhajana Kriya, no? Prabhupada says it is completed by influence of association. It is exact translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is a verse. Chaitanya Krishna Swami says, what's that verse? Teno hoye puna mukhyang. That in the beginning, we need association of devotees to attain love of God. And after we attain love of God, still the most important limb is association of devotees. So, Krishna Consciousness Swami says, why? In the beginning, association of devotees helps us to become attached to Lord. After we attain love of God, we become attached to Lord. Association of devotees helps us to relish that association. So that is what Prabhupada says, completed by influence of association. This is so important line. We should remember, association of devotees is always important. Without association of devotees, we can think we become perfect. We don't need now. No. Still you need to relish. Mahaprabhu was always with Sarup Damodar, Ramanand Rai. He was relishing those pastimes. So initially it is to help us become attached. After attachment, it helps us to relish. Just like we are relishing, all of us now, Krishna Katha, it's nice. The Lord has suggested, therefore, that by the influence of speeches of saintly person who have actually realized the Supreme, men are engaged in His transcendental loving service. By the speech of saintly person. Oh, this reminds me, Prabhupada mentions in one of his purport. He quotes Madhvacharya, and in his quote he tells, how do we identify a saintly person? So there are so many symptoms. He can weep, there are ecstatical symptoms, and he can be doing so many services. But Madhvacharya mentions 2 points. How to recognize a saint? Mukha prasada dharyam cha. There are so many qualifications, but 2 qualifications are important. By his determination, his sadhana, and second is mukha prasada, by the prasad of his mouth, that is his speech, his words. You can know a devotee by his words. Man is known by his words. Man is known. A fool is also known by his words. Both things. And a fool is not known unless he speaks. That's also there. So by speech of saintly person, we can understand him. We can find saints in their words. And through their words, we can find saints. And through saints, we can find their words. It goes both ways. The conditioned soul gets a taste for hearing about Lord. This line is very important. Prabhupada doesn't say the conditioned soul gets to hear from devotees or hears about Lord. Prabhupada is bringing another point. When we hear from saintly person, we get taste. So what we get in association, not just words, not just information, that taste. That taste you can't get from book. That is why we need both devotees and book. Prabhupada says Bhagavat and Bhagavat. Why? People can think we can read books. No. Book can give you information. What about taste? Taste is there in the heart of devotees. And devotees transfer that taste. And without taste, we can't even appreciate these words. That is why Prabhupada tells, you get taste for hearing about the Lord by saintly person. They have taste. They'll give you the taste. And that matters. That taste matters. That is, like people used to, like Maharaj was saying, people used to associate Prabhupada, what they used to get. Prabhupada was saying the same things. Serve Krishna, you're not this body. You can hear, they were hearing again and again. But when you hear from Prabhupada, you get enthusiasm. Yes. Even now, Prabhupada, if we hear his lectures, one line, you get enthusiasm. Why? Prabhupada is giving us enthusiasm and taste. That is why Mahaprabhu says, Nam Ruchi, Jive Daya Vaishnav Seva. And by such hearing only, gradually elevated to the platform of respect, devotion and attachment for Lord. That taste will help us to become attached to Him and develop devotion. Naam nache, jeev nache, nache prem dhan. Jagdanand Pandit says, when a devotee chants holy name dances on his tongue. Because holy name dances, the devotee dances. And naam nache, jeev nache, and because devotee dances, love of God dances. All three dances together. And that's nice. The whole thing is completed by a surrendering process. Herein also the same suggestion is made by Lord in his incarnation of Vyasadeva. This means that conditioned souls are being reclaimed by the Lord both ways. Yes, both ways. Krishna helps in two ways. Namely, by process of punishment by external energy of Lord. By punishing, he helps us. And by himself as spiritual master within and without. Within means a super soul. Without means spiritual master. So three ways he helps us. He is not obliged to help us. He can put us in a black hole. He can do anything. I mean to say, we deserve black hole first of all. We don't deserve his mercy. We are complete nonsense. We rejected Krishna birth after birth after birth. But Krishna is so merciful. He helps us not in 1, 2, 3 ways. By punishing us, as super soul and as spiritual master. He will always try to help us. Within the heart, every living being, the Lord himself as super soul Paramatma becomes a spiritual master. From without, he becomes spiritual master in the shape of scriptures, saints and initiated spiritual master, Diksha, Shiksha, Gurus and scriptures, Sadhu Guru Shastra. This is still more explicitly explained in next shloka. Personal superintendence of illusionary energy is confirmed in the Vedas in relationship to demigods, the controlling power. Prabhupada is coming to next point, that this illusion there is a personal deity of this illusion. Durga Devi, we know. Herein is also clearly stated that living entity is controlled by external energy in a personal capacity. So everything is personal. Devotion is personal. That's what we have to understand. Now, institution brings impersonalism. It is bringing. But we have to understand. We have to keep this personal in this institution. We have to understand this personal concept. Living being thus subject to control of external energy is differently situated. It is clear, however, from present statement of Bhagavatam that the same external energy is situated in the inferior position before supersonality of Godhead or perfect being. This is important point coming now. Perfect being or Lord cannot be approached even by the illusory energy who can only work on living entities. The difference between Krishna and us is Krishna can never be influenced by illusion. But we can. Because Prabhupada says Krishna is a master of illusion. Therefore, and those who surrender to him, they also cannot be influenced by illusion, by his mercy. Oh yeah, I think in one of the Puranas this comes. Somebody asked Brahmaji, how do you know so much? How are you omniscient? Brahma told, I think it comes in Bhagavatam also, Devarshi Narad converses with Brahma. Brahma said, well, whatever I know, even if I am omniscient, I know everything by the mercy of Krishna. That's the idea. Krishna tells me, whatever Krishna wants me to know, that I know. I cannot know even 0.0001% more than that. If we are in that mood, then Maya doesn't affect us. Otherwise, it's difficult to get free of Maya. I mean to say, even in this temple, if we are not careful, Maya can catch us. It's not that we are here and Maya cannot catch us. She is everywhere. But we have to be careful. We have to be very careful. If living being and the Lord would have been in the same category, then it would not have been quite possible for Vyasadeva to see it. There would have been no question of material distress on the part of illusion being, because Supreme Being is fully cognizant. So there are many unscrupulous imaginations on the part of monists to endeavor to put both Lord and living being in the same category. Prabhupada is talking about monism. Had it been so, then Sri Sukadeva Goswami would not have taken trouble to describe transcendental pastimes of the Lord if they were all manifestations of illusory energy. Well, actually, this is a point here. Impersonalists, they argue, fine, you are discussing pastimes of Lord. This doesn't prove that God is not impersonal. Because according to Shankaracharya, discussing pastimes is for neophytes. Okay, fine, you can't meditate on oneness of Krishna. It is inconceivable. For you, new people, you just see pastimes of God, you enjoy, and later when you become purified, you realize, oh, I am one with God. That's Shankaracharya's explanation, Vyavharik and Paramatmik. But Prabhupada mentions here, actually this is when Prabhupada says, Sukadeva Goswami would not have taken trouble to describe transcendental pastimes. If Sukadeva Goswami is describing pastimes of Lord, he is liberated. He is not a neophyte. So that argument of Mayavad, it's finished. Because Mayavadis, they argue, for new people this is pastimes, for advanced it's monism. But Sukadeva Goswami is not new. Right from his birth he was perfect. So by putting this name of Sukadeva Goswami, why Prabhupada speaks Sukadeva Goswami? There are so many devotees. He immediately argues, he immediately refutes Mayavad. Sukadeva Goswami is taking trouble. Prabhupada says, I've taken trouble to describe. This is funny, huh? Prabhupada says he takes trouble. It's not trouble for Sukadeva Goswami, it's relishable. But to refute Mayavadis, he's using this word. He has taken the trouble to describe. Well, he's liberated. So what do you say? The whole theory goes down. By one statement, Prabhupada can refute Mayavadis. Mayavadis have no answer for this. If you ask any Shankara followers, okay, Sukadeva Goswami is describing pastimes, they can't say anything. Because they also agree Shuka Mahamuni. If you see Parampara of Shankaracharya, Sukadeva Goswami is their Acharya, Shuka Mahamuni. If he is doing, why is doing? So Srimad Bhagavatam is Sammam Bonam, remedy for suffering humanity in clutches of Maya. And now Prabhupada is raising very important point. Sri Vyasadeva therefore first of all diagnosed the actual disease of conditioned soul. There being illusion by external energy, he also saw perfect Supreme Being from whom illusory energy is far removed. Though he saw both disease conditioned souls and also the cause of disease. This is one verse from Bhagavatam. Apashyat purnam purusham mayam tachat apashrayam. Prabhupada. Actually, there's a technique to read purport of Prabhupada. Prabhupada is thinking verses and he's translating it into English and putting his own realizations. You can find verses of Bhagavatam right there in purports of Prabhupada. And by this we know Prabhupada is speaking as it is. Prabhupada is giving the same message. By this we can understand. So this is one verse. Apashyat purnam purusham maya tad apashrayam. When Vyasadeva went into Samadhi, he saw not only Lord but also Maya behind him. Now Bhakti Siddhanta comments on that verse. Whenever somebody used to come and meet him, and Bhakti Siddhanta used to ask him, okay, before giving his lecture, he used to say, okay, do you realize Krishna? It's right from there. So if you, because Indians, they were so sentimental at that time, people were thinking, we know Krishna. So anybody used to say, okay, yeah, I saw Krishna in my dreams, I know Krishna. Bhakti Siddhanta used to say, Daso Asmi. I am your servant. If you know Krishna, I can instruct you. So thank you very much. He won't speak. He won't speak. Because you know Krishna. So I am your servant. That's all. But then he used to ask a question. He used to say, fine, tell me, what did you see in your dream? You saw only Krishna? What else? He saw, I saw Krishna with flute and all this. And then he used to tell, this means you never saw Krishna. Because if you see Krishna, then you will also see Maya. That's what Prabhupada tells. Vyasadeva not only saw Krishna, but behind him he saw illusion and all conditioned souls under his control. If you saw only Krishna, that was your imagination.
Right.
So, Krishna is never alone. So, if you see real Krishna, there has to be Maya. There has to be all conditioned souls. If you didn't see, then you are an illusion. So, sorry, that's your imagination, that's your dream. And that's how he used to refute them also. He needs to make them realize you are simply bogus.
Maya is described as the backside of Krishna.
Why this? Backside? Backside Maya tat apashrayam. Backside means he's in control. Krishna, there are two reasons for that. One is Maya is under control of God. Second is, Prabhupada mentions, because she feels shy to come in front of Lord because she is doing a thankless job. So that's why she stands behind. So and that's why she is embarrassed. So both ways. So that's what Bhaktivedanta used to refute. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when somebody used to come to him, he used to ask one more question. Because at that time, Vrindavan 500 years ago, there were so many sahajjas. Off and on, the people used to come. They used to ask, I saw Krishna. So Vishwanath Chakravarti used to ask him, okay, did you see Krishna? Okay, fine. Did you also smell him? What's this? Okay, you never saw Krishna. You're bogus. That's what.
He has a nice smell.
Yeah, he has a nice smell. So if Krishna is there, then you should be able to smell him. So that's how Acharyas, they were self-realized. They knew. Yeah.
One quick story, that in the early days, 1968 or 9, one devotee wrote to Prabhupada and said, when I was chanting my japa this morning, I saw Krishna running in front of me because we were circulating the temple. I saw Krishna. So Prabhupada wrote the letter back. He wrote him a letter. He said, as far as you're seeing Krishna, go on with your chanting, sit very determined, very seriously, and these imaginations will go away.
Yeah, he said hallucinations, yeah.
You're not going to see Krishna one day.
Yeah, perfect. So that's interesting, yeah. So, and the remedial measure suggested in the next verse, both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living beings are undoubtedly qualitatively one. That's the point I was raising. If you understand Krishna, you understand yourself. If you try to understand yourself, you understand Krishna. Both ways it goes. But the Lord is controller of illusory energy, whereas the living entity is controlled by illusory energy. People who hate this statement, they are demons. But we like this statement. We like to be controlled by Krishna. Yeah. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes a little further. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna, I don't want to be controlled by you, but I want to be exploited by you. That's the highest conception of devotion, exploited. And that, if you can come to that point, that's the highest. Ashlishya va padratam nipnashtumam. That means exploit me, Krishna. Even if you don't give me mercy, no problem. You use me in your service, throw me away. And that I'll consider your mercy. That's your mercy. And we will be fortunate if Krishna uses us. Thus the Lord and the living being are simultaneously one and different. Another point is distinct herein, that eternal relation between Lord and the living being is transcendental. Otherwise the Lord would not have taken trouble to reclaim the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya. And Prabhupada is coming to the point. In the same way, living entity is also required to revive his natural love and affection. Just like Lord takes trouble to reclaim us, we also have to take trouble to revive our natural love and affection for the Lord, and that is the highest perfection of living entity. Srimad Bhagavatam treats the conditioned soul with an aim to that goal of life.
Bhagavatam ki
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Vikram Maharaj ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you very much.